that's ultimately the goal in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to that old saying: "Good artists copy, great artists steal." You know, David Bowie said that. So like, it's okay to sound like someone else.
It ain't that I can't stop, it's that I won't stop. I made a few plays off a flip, now I'm on top. I'm Southside Chief, homie. Yeah. What you know about it? Lake Street legend CEO, not the co-founder. What you wanna know about me? I'm so cursed up. I'm the last man standing, but I went first up. Most hated, they don't say it when I roll up. The things that people say about me, they don't say close up. Check it.
So you ready to go?
Yeah, we're
All right,
good.
another episode of Minnesota's #1 daily show, live on Lake Street. Special guest in the building. We got Yokai, a.k.a. Ben from DSM.
Yep.
So first time meeting you was just the other day where you were in here with another guy that you work with that we
Yep,
just had on the
homie.
show.
Yep. Shout out homie, the homie.
So give me a little bit of your background. Talk to me a little bit about what it is that you do.
I mean, music-wise, I guess I've been doing music for probably since I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So I started out as a live sound engineer for a couple of my local churches where I grew up.
At 8?
Yep.
So
At
8 years old, you were engineering live music for the church.
Yep. And sermons and stuff.
Hold on, we can't skate past that. How does that happen?
My mom's a pastor.
But how did they know that this was something you were capable of?
Because I don't know, the dude that did it, he was like pretty old, and he was starting to have medical problems. So he just kind of taught me how to do it. Oh, here's how to set the mic level. Here's how to adjust the gain, and then I just took to it really well. So
you were getting game from the old guy.
Yep.
And then he was kind of on his way out. So they were like, well, 8-year-old Ben, you're up.
Mm-hmm.
Next guy up. And that was you.
I was also very interested in technology from like when I was a little kid, like when I could barely walk. My mom was like super into technology as well because that was part of her job.
Okay.
And my dad was a videographer for Carol 11 News for a while.
Oh, wow.
When he was younger. So like just having that side of my family with the videography and tech, I just kind of grew up really young learning how to do all that stuff. So it wasn't too hard for me to grasp, oh, this is how to do this. And it just kind of developed throughout middle school, elementary school, middle school, until eventually I got to high school and I was the lead sound tech for a concert series up where I graduated high school, which is Lake of the Woods, so 7.5 hours north of here.
Okay.
So I was doing lead sound, so I'd train the people in. I'd also mic everything up, monitor the levels for orchestras, jazz bands. I think we had some like Chinese traditional like Kyoto or like Koto and those like type of things there as well. So I started doing that freelance, and then I met my first artist that I ever did, Gluey, and he told me to come down here and do music because I was going to do college football and law enforcement until he was like, nah, you got to come down and do music. So I came down, went to college at IPR, started my music group / media company, did Silence Media at 18 with my little brother Sage. And from there we just met Omi and everyone else in the group.
Okay.
And so I do the production, engineering, videography, photography, editing, live sound. I rap and songwrite. So I do everything.
So you rap too?
Yep. Occasionally.
Yeah.
Like very, very, very.
I mean, I think it's important to have like for teams to have jobs. You know what I mean? Like it's like everybody. If nowadays it seems like everybody in the group wants to be the rapper.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to hold the camera.
Yeah,
Somebody's got to
exactly.
figure out how to, you know what I mean, engineer the music. So it's good to have a guy around like you that just has all that.
Exactly. And I mean, with context, if people go listen to Omi's interview that he had on here, I also teach all these guys how to make their own beats and record themselves and stuff. So everyone has the tools to be autonomous from me and not necessarily need a crutch, basically. They choose to work with me. They don't need to. And that's kind of what I look for with my group members especially is you have the knowledge, the skill set, the talent to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
But you still turn around and come back because you know that I have something to offer that's more than just, oh, you make good beats.
Yeah, and even if they're, if the artists that you're referring to are, become good at or decent at, mixing their own music, there's always room for another ear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just the experience level even. Like, I'm always going to be slightly more experienced than them, no matter how, how far along in their career they are.
Right.
Just because I was the one that taught them initially.
Yeah.
So maybe their talent level exceeds mine, but just time in doing this, it's always going to be more.
For sure.
So.
Okay, that's dope. So Lake of the Woods, is that where you grew up? Like your young
Not
life?
really. So I grew up in a small town called Olivia, Minnesota.
Okay, I've been there.
And I moved out of there in 9th grade when my mom married my stepdad up to Roseau, Minnesota, by Lake of the Woods. And then graduated high school there and then came down here.
Okay. So how long have you been like in the cities? Like in
4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
Okay, so in the 4 years that you've been around in the actual Twin Cities and being around and a part of the music scene, what is your perspective of the state of music in Minnesota?
There's a lot of redeeming qualities, especially from the perspective of someone that is coming from a place that doesn't even have like music as a creative outlet, really.
Yeah.
For younger people at least, coming into the cities, there's a lot of redeeming qualities just because I feel like there are a lot of people that are open to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
But the degree of talent that is open to work with you is not as prevalent, if you get what I'm saying.
So the people that are good
typically are insular.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I agree with you on I think that's gotten better. I agree with you. I mean, it's funny you say that and like 6 names come to my mind immediately where like I know exactly who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, but I don't get it. Like I understand like
there's the way I look at it, there's a certain degree of you have to isolate yourself because you're at this level, and you have these certain opportunities that you have at hand, so you cannot give those opportunities to just
you don't want to spread yourself too thin when you're looked at as the premier artist in a place that really hasn't quite bubbled to the point where we know it can,
or just dilute your catalog as well.
That too, but there's also an element of like some of the artists that I'm sure come to your mind that come to my mind, which there's no reason to say any names, but like you'll see some of these artists that do kind of act a little Hollywood do features for the right price, and the features are just like subpar to what they're able to do, what we know they're able to do. And it's like, I understand wanting to charge for your craft, but that little 8 bars and a half a chorus, that shit was not good. So when you talk about diluting, it's like there's diluting your catalog. You're still kind of diluting your catalog. Because at some point, someone's going to hear that garbage you just put on fucking Jimmy Two Shoes from Minnetonka's song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this doesn't do you any good. So it almost benefits you to just work with actual talented artists for free.
The way I look at it, and I've been in studios where this has been the case, is you'll have a larger artist come in and try and work with a smaller artist, and they're getting paid to do so. So their heart's not in the craft as much. So they do leave that subpar verse feature open, whatever it might be, however you want to phrase it. They hop on the track with the smaller artist, and like you said, it's subpar. It doesn't make any sense. Then
they're not proud to promote it.
Exactly.
So you're not going to get a share or nothing out of it.
I feel the mindset with that is people take the money because they want you need money to survive, of course, and they're trying to make a business out of it. But there's no real passion there, and they only have passion or they only feel interested in making their art if they're dealing with someone at their level or higher, because they know it's also giving them opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
They
catch.
don't like reaching down.
It's a catch-22, and like we could talk about it till we're blue in the face. And the truth is, I don't like have answers for it,
I don't either.
and I can't really even be mad about it. But the truth is, it seems to me like aside from maybe a handful of artists, they're all in the same boat. You know what I mean? Like none of y'all are Drake, so
That's how I feel about everyone in Minnesota.
that's what I'm saying.
Regardless
So it's like
of popularity, none of us are to the point where you can go on an international tour and sell out every single venue.
Exactly. Like you need, you know what I mean? And so that's the kind of stuff that discourages me. But then you also realize, like you said, there is an abundance of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not any shortage of talent here at all. I don't know. I can't speak on Idaho's music scene. Idaho they might be busting with talent too, for all I know. But
I have no clue.
what I do know is I know the industry, and I know what we have here, and I know that we have plenty here.
I mean, you go
that
to
matches.
open mics all over, and you can find that, because that's how I recruit a lot of the people that join my group. Is I go out to open mics, I pay attention to this kind of stuff live on Lake Street, and I just kind of watch until I find someone that I really feel ticks the boxes that I look for in an artist or whatever I'm trying to recruit them for. And there's a lot of people in the state that I genuinely feel have that, like, it factor almost of you're teachable, but you're also confident in your own abilities. You know how to have a stage presence, and you know how to articulate your ideas well. And that's it. That's what makes an artist in my eyes.
Yeah, and I do feel, you hear a lot of talk about like that, we lack originality and we lack a sound. I think our sound is melting pot, because that's what Minnesota is. I don't think we have a sound.
I will disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I feel like we have a very individual sound,
Okay.
but it's snuffed. The people that make true Minnesota-like style music are looked at as, I guess, weirdos. Because everyone else wants that melting pot kind of biting off of so-and-so or what and kind of the trendy stuff, which I enjoy it myself. I listen to it, you know what I mean? But it's kind of, I'll use these guys as an example. It's the Suicide Boys thing. They came out of New Orleans. They took the Memphis rap horrorcore stuff. They flipped it, did their own thing with it. Everyone hated on them until they just got too big to fail, basically. And now they're mainstream in like a pretty, I guess, major way. If you're into underground rap, you know about them. So that's kind of how I see the Minnesota artists. There just hasn't been one that has gotten to the point where the truly original music has overtaken all the criticism.
So, okay. So if you're going to disagree with me, then give me an idea. So what is the Minnesota sound?
Minnesota sound for me is...
That's a tough question to answer, but...
I mean, it is, but it isn't.
Okay.
Because I believe one artist in particular in my group has that.
Okay.
And it's a melting pot in the way of you can kind of hear where he got his sound from, but everything that he does, the things he talks about, the beat selection, all that, you don't hear anywhere else. Yeah, he might rap fast. The guy I'm talking about is Manny Rose, by the way.
Okay.
He might rap fast, but the things he talks about, I don't hear fast rappers talk about. His beat selection, the beats that he picks for me, you don't hear fast rappers or melodic people hop on that kind of stuff. How he presents himself, it kind of fits the mold, but his interests and how he kind of brands himself isn't typically how everyone brands himself.
Okay.
Because he talks about healthy lifestyle, veganism, living life, healthy, finding healthy connections in life, not doing drugs, not talking about this, that, and the third. So that's...
Where's he from?
Here.
Where, though?
Chisago Lakes.
See, that's the problem.
Yep. That's what I mean. It's kind of snuff.
This is and that's where I would give the pushback. Is I mean I haven't heard him, so I can't speak. I can't speak to his sound, but I do feel like Minnesota has had a sound, and now that sound is sort of getting drowned out because music in Minnesota has really been in the hands of white people. And so the sound previously, I think, was Atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
They created that sound. And I mean, even Prof, I think, has separated himself. But it's that kind of backpack, sad boy.
Like early to mid 2010s, that kind of era. I know exactly what you're talking
and
about.
I've never
like the stoner white kid middle school.
But
table stuff.
Exactly. And I feel like that has shifted now, because as I've said many times, and I know I don't know how it sounds or looks or whatever when it's two white dudes sitting on a podcast talking about it, but hip hop is a black art form. You know what I mean?
Agreed,
like
yeah.
we're guests here, and I feel like hip hop in Minnesota hasn't been in the hands of the rightful owners for a very long time. And there are probably people that would disagree with me on that, but that's how it looks from a consumer standpoint. And
I mean,
feel
at
like,
least from like a commercial,
yeah,
definitely a commercial standpoint.
yeah.
I mean, the label that we're dancing around with these artists, they primarily sign white people.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't want to say that that's it's kind of a problem.
It depending on the intention is a problem. If it just so happens that they sign a lot of them because that's how their ear is.
But there is something to be said for the
fine,
fact that the two, I mean, arguably, not even arguably, probably the two biggest hip hop artists in Minnesota, if you discount Atmosphere, because they're kind of, they're OG, they're kind of on their way out, whatever.
They've been, they're like solidified, but they're not like anything currently relevant.
Yeah, so currently relevant, Prof and Gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Two biggest artists out of Minnesota. And I'm not taking anything away from them to say that, like, they didn't work for it or they don't deserve it, they didn't earn it. I assume they did. I don't know. I don't know their whole path. I don't know everything they've done.
I don't know.
If they wanted to come sit down and do an interview with me for once, then maybe we could find out. Yeah. But so I feel like we're building a sound, and like you talk about, like, I don't know who you are familiar with, but like we have artists here that are still making music that's original. Like it's not like when I listen to Huncho Nemo, I don't hear anybody else in the industry that sounds like him.
Mm-hmm.
He uses melodies and voice inflections that I don't hear anybody else do. You know what I mean? The way that he transitions from rap to melody. The only person in the industry I could really compare it to would be like a Roddy Ricch. But he doesn't sound like Roddy.
Yeah, I don't know him. And I mean, just for clarification, my side of rap is not like typically what you hear out of popular Minnesota artists.
So it's different
perspectives. I deal with
perspectives.
trap metal. So like I deal with
trap metal,
dark trap, like, and boom bap. So like the dark horrorcore, heavy metal inspired, just like ripping guts, mosh pit music. That's typically what I deal with. So
trap metal.
Like the only like melodic guys that I know of really is Enzy Rose, Casey Pluto, and like that side of things.
You just named two artists that I would say are almost entirely original. Enzy doesn't sound like anybody else. She sounds like nobody else.
I can't name off top, but yeah.
Casey. Casey's great.
I will say, because Enzy knows I like her music. I did a podcast with her like a couple months ago and stuff. We've been cool. It's not bad to be derivative of anything. So like me not being able to name anything, that might mean that you're original, but like it's more so the fact that while she might bring an artist to mind, it's how she frames herself as a person or as a brand that makes her individual. Yeah. And that's ultimately the goal in my eyes. Yeah. Because it goes back to that old saying, good artists copy, great artists steal. David Bowie said that. So like it's okay to sound like someone else as long as you add enough of your own personal identity to make it you. Yeah. So I mean, that's just kind of the discussion that I would have with like Casey and Enzy and just a lot of people is there's probably some popular people that they sound like depending on the song that you listen to, of course, but they still know how to add their own little taste into it, and that's that's good. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? That's what makes a good artist.
For sure. Talk to me a little bit about your recruiting process. You mentioned recruiting. Like, how do you, well, give me an example of somebody that you've seen on Live on Lake Street that you were like,
Not Live on Lake Street yet. There hasn't been anyone.
damn, almost 200 episodes, got nothing?
Nothing. But
Damn.
that's because I'm looking for someone.
We ain't had no trap metal artists, that's why.
Yeah, literally. you don't have. There hasn't been anyone that's piqued my interest with who I can work with, and
Gotcha.
that's. And like here, I'll use Omi because he was just on here this week,
Mm-hmm.
and I came here with him. I saw him at an open mic, heard him do some boom bap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrical content that I heard, I'm like, okay, I can work with that because I know I myself can write like that in a similar sense, so I know kind of where he's trying to go with it.
Okay.
Plus the beat selection I heard, I'm like, okay, I know how to make those beats too. So I have a jumping off point with this guy. I'll see how open he is to work and experiment. Invite him over to my studio for a free session. Sit down, have him talk with me about what he wants to do. If he has any music he's working on, give him some beats, let him walk off. I won't text him for like a month unless they respond back to me. So I'll just sit there and I'll let them do their thing. And if they text me and say, oh, I actually written to these beats, I think they're cool, let's come and record it, and they come and record, then that's when I'm like, okay, you're actually wanting to do this. Because even a lot of the times that I give free sessions to people, you have to pay no money. I'll pick you up in my car. All this stuff.
Do you use the same method with women?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Nah, literally.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so it's like, do that, boom. That's the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most of the time it doesn't work. Like I've only had like 2 or 3 people actually follow through with it. And I'll even come and meet them at their studio. I don't care. But I'll just offer them a free session. I'll pick them up. I'll drive there. I don't really care what happens. But I just want to see if I give you all of my resources, any beat you want, I'll make them. Whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're willing to just work.
So where's your bread buttered in the industry? Like where's your income? Does your income come from
Nothing.
engineering side?
Nothing. I don't make money.
Photography side? Nothing. Music videos?
Because I do a lot of free stuff. I'm not in it to make music or for money. I'm not in it to make money. We do, and especially with DSM, we do things a lot differently than how most business is structured. I only work with people that I believe in, first off. I don't do it for money. I do it because I genuinely think that your music is great and I want to make a good product. So if I take money up front, it's cheap. If I make beats for you, they're typically for free.
Okay.
But I take a larger royalty percentage because if that song pops off, yeah, I want my bread eventually, but I'm not going to make you pay a lot of money to work with me and then have this song flop. And now you're down thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with being down thousands of dollars because I know I'll get it back eventually regardless. But I just feel like it takes away from the artist if they're put in a position where they feel anxiety or stressed because they have to pay $80 an hour for studio time and they're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week just trying to get into the studio. I don't want to put that pressure on them.
Okay.
I want to put the performance pressure on them of the only way I'm ever going to make it is if you do a good song because I'm going to get paid off the royalties. And then I build that relationship off of, I want you to do well so I can do well.
Yeah.
So you better do a good job. And that's how I base everything off of.
What's the biggest song you've had thus far?
Probably I think 40,000 streams.
Okay.
On Apple or Spotify, one of them. It's probably like 80,000 over all platforms.
Okay.
But the one that I didn't work on has like 75 or 750,000 streams, and that was from Manny. That was with his homies out in LA because he lives out in LA.
Okay.
Now. But I mean, it's not for the streams either. And I mean, that's also the thing that I kind of realized is the music that I want to make is going to take a certain type of way of promoting it and doing it for people to really latch on and enjoy it to its full potential. So for me, I'm not focused on streams. I'm not focused on money. I'm just focused on trying to basically help people find what they want to in life.
Yeah.
Like guide them, make them the best artists they possibly can, and hopefully along the way we get famous.
Is DSM like, is that a record label or is it just it's a production company or?
You can't necessarily put it in a box.
Okay.
I mean, it's all.
Okay.
It's all above.
Gotcha.
We own a studio. We record there. We songwrite for other people. We make beats for, like, everyone that works in. So it's technically a media company, Dead Silence Media. We provide services for other people, but those same services that we provide for other people, we do for ourselves because we're all artists.
Okay.
And it's just a feedback loop of we practice on ourselves, so then when someone does hire us, we're better than average.
Got you.
And we just keep on doing that until eventually someone will recognize the talent and be like, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
3 artists in the Twin Cities that you would like to work with.
I ain't got any because I already worked with them.
There's nobody out there that you wish you could work with.
Not really. I mean, there is one, Suavo ATMG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like him. He was my top artist for Spotify rap.
He'll see this.
Yep.
He'll probably hit you
Well,
up.
I've talked to him a couple
You have?
times.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw him at Bullwinkle's like 4 or 5 times.
You've seen it, so you've seen him live.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a pretty great performer.
I'm homies with Jack Bentley and stuff. So like we already kind of have that tie. It's just we haven't gotten in the studio.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So Suavo and Jack. You would want to work with Jack?
Already have.
Already have worked.
He
with Jack.
recorded his first 3 songs at my house.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't with me. It was with my roommate Glue. But yeah, I've known him since he started music.
Okay.
We did a podcast episode together.
For sure. He was just on here.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like his stuff a lot.
We had fun. We talked some shit.
Yeah.
I was gassed up. that day. That was a fun day.
Yeah, he just did he's supposed to be doing a feature for one of the artists in my group.
Okay.
For his
So
tape,
so moving forward, like what can we look forward to coming out from you, from your not production company?
My everything. Yeah, my group. I mean, just a lot of stuff. I won't say too much, just because I like announcing it over social media on our platform. But
that's why you clip this.
Yep, we are doing the Uprooted podcast. So we already did that, and I'm restarting it. And that's where I had Enzi on and Jack and stuff. So that was the podcast I'm referring to.
Okay. That's hosted by you.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm the host. He's one of them.
Okay.
And then one of my other artists, DT, is. And then we have a group project that we are dropping on Halloween next year. It's going to be 30 songs, and we're grabbing artists from every corner of Minnesota to hop on it.
Okay.
We already have Calvino from Waterwave on there.
Okay.
Jack, that song I was talking to you about, that's supposed to be on the project. And there's a couple other guys that are supposed to be on there that have said yes, but we haven't gotten it recorded. So
Hollywood?
Something like that.
Oh shit.
Go if y'all want to know who my artists know, just go and look at their tagged pictures. And same with me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have worked with some pretty big people.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, this is a fun conversation.
Yeah,
I like when people. I wish you'd have given me a little more pushback on my opinion on the melting pot, but I do like when people disagree. I like when people disagree.
We share opinions a lot, though. Like, you kind of have the opinion of a record producer. So,
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it
That's
makes
what
sense.
happens when you sit back and talk to artists a lot.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, so yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna leave one with this. If you want to be a good record producer, doing a podcast is a great way to start because you will hear opinions and be an artist therapist for a majority of it, and that's how you actually learn how to make good music.
Yeah.
Is by being able to understand people's emotions and understand where an artist is coming from. As a producer, you're supposed to be a mirror. That's what you're supposed. That's your goal.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point. Great point. Wise words. You're right. I don't know if I want to be a record producer, but
You could be.
but it's nice to know that I could be, and I appreciate that. Tell them where they can find you.
Yokai, _DSM, Dead Silence Media on Instagram, or Prod by Yokai on basically anything else.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed this, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have the rest of the boys come through because there's 8 of us.
Yeah,
So.
and invite me on your podcast too.
Yeah, we'll definitely
I'll
have
come
to do
talk
that.
some shit with you.
I'll have both of you guys on there.
For sure. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. All right. Another episode of Minnesota's #1 daily show live on Lake Street. I'm Jake Faircloth. Follow me everywhere at Jake Faircloth1.
It ain't that I can't stop, it's that I won't stop. I made a few plays off a flip, now I'm on top. I'm Southside Chief, homie. Yeah. What you know about it? Lake Street legend CEO, not the co-founder. What you wanna know about me? I'm so churched up. I'm the last man standing, but I went first up. Most hated, they don't say it when I roll up. The things that people say about me, they don't say close up. Check it.